Hello, hello, hello. I am told we are live, and so here I am. Um, there's a lot of character art on the screen and not a lot of player faces. That's because some people are running a little bit late due to the nature of how the world works in reality. And Sin is here. They're here. They're having camera issues, so we're not going to get to see their face tonight, probably. Joey and Alex are on their way, um, running behind, and uh, Sarah is traveling. Rem is big shot traveling game marketing professional now. So
Spreading the gospel of Catalyst games and Rem Alternate.
Spedding. That is not a word. So, hi, I'm Danny, and we will be running our session tonight. But first, we're going to go around real quick and say hi to everybody that is here and see what's going on with them. So, as usual, we will start with Sin. Hello.
Hello, howdy. How are you, Danny?
You know, we're doing the thing.
Doing a thing. Living life day by day.
Day by day, the only way to do it.
I'm just vibing. This whole weekend has just been for relaxing.
Nice. I guess I've been fairly relaxed too. I've been busy though, but also relaxed. With that, we will shoot on. Oh.
Oh no, I was like, I just know my next plans are now to look up cupping for ASMR.
Careful what you say on Twitch. They might. Yeah, no, cupping is not like there are things about cups and stuff in like our internet past that make saying anything with cup seem kind of like squirrely, a little bit like, what are you talking about? But no, in ASMR, cupping is very benign thing.
I'm not old enough for that, Danny.
For what? For the sordid past of the sordid history of cups and the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I don't know. I don't know at all. But Elizabeth, hello. What's going on?
Hello, hi. I have just been busy here playing games all the time, prepping for the streamathon, which is in 2 weeks, I think. I should know that.
Technically, by this time in 2 weeks, we will be the final stream of the streamathon.
We will, that's right.
So yes, but also in technicality, this is also the end of the streamathon in 2 weeks.
Very true. So yeah, that's what I've been doing, playing games and prepping people for the streamathon, prepping my game, hanging out. That's about it.
Yeah, you're setting up chats. I discovered I was in a second game for the streamathon.
Yes.
Which I was not expecting necessarily, but am not mad at. Not at all. And it turns out it's actually going to be a Malifaux game. I did not realize it was going to be a Malifaux game using the Through the Breach rule set. So that was exciting to discover.
Oh, that's okay. Yes, good to know.
Okay. Speaking of good to know, what else is good? What's good, John?
Well, I spent all morning battling ants because the ants decided they didn't like the rain, and so they were in my pantry in my Ritz crackers. So I went to make meatloaf, and there were ants, and it was a problem. So I spent all morning being a brutal ant hater, and using Windex with vinegar to, as humanely as possible, get the ants to die. For some reason, ants don't do well with vinegar, so Windex with vinegar is the most kind of humane way to destroy ants in one's home.
Yeah. I've heard this.
Yes, and also I am also working on the streamathon. I do have a stream in the streamathon, and I am also in a couple of them. But before the streamathon, we do have a whole bunch of really cool content coming up next week. Actually tomorrow, because tomorrow is next week. On Monday, Paranormal Albany is having a birthday party Teslin was telling me that it was potentially a flashback, but it would be a really great thing for all the people that love Paranormal Albany to watch to kind of see how some of the characters met. If I understand the birthday party correctly, I may not understand it correctly because I'm not one of the OG watchers. I'm still fairly new to it. Then on Tuesday, of course, our Shadowrun Chicago Mission streams have moved on to the Shadowcasters Network YouTube. I believe they're going weekly, but I have not confirmed that. But I'm pretty sure they're going weekly. Wednesday, we have the wonderful Power Rangers Centurion, where if you have not watched, please visit our YouTube archives here at Realm Alternus to watch what's going on, to see where all of the characters that fell through the Black Quicksand went. This past Thursday, we had a really good time with the One Shot Show doing Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Isabeth was in that. I hope Isabeth's had a good time at least. You got
It was
to use
so much fun.
You got to use telekinesis to throw a vampire into a wall painting and stake them via telekinesis, which is a party for anyone, really.
Amazing. It was so much fun.
And then Friday, we have another episode of Well of the Worlds coming up, which Isabeth is in Well of the Worlds as Freya, I believe, is your character in that one.
Just busy playing games.
Playing games, all sorts. On my personally, for me, of course, as well, I have other things going on. Everything is Gay, Even the Straight Stuff is celebrating me for the month of April. So last week was the release of my Pleasantville episode. And we are recording the next of my birthday month episodes coming up. I will give a hint here for all people that listen in. The actress that is kind of at the center of this thing that we're going to be talking about coming up, it's going to be released, is Lucy Liu. And that is the hint that I will give. So all the people that like Lucy Liu, think about what works Lucy has been in that you may think I like as well, and then listen in to see if you have the correct thing. Also, I am going to be moving to Chicago to my MFA program, and in the month of April, I'm hosting a Baked Good virtual raffle giveaway where I will make you a baked good if you win. And Isabeth can also attest to that my baked goods are delicious. $5 for an entry, and all the entries, the money is being sent to my PayPal. And like, if you want to do something for Mother's Day, like I'll bake something for your mom and like throw in a Mother's Day card for you, kind of thing. So it's like instant gift giving if you so wish. But it's a very exciting time. I did not realize how close August was until I was like looking up recommended moving stuff, and they're like, you should consider figuring it out at the beginning of summer for the end of summer because that's when it's most expensive. So now I'm kind of doing that while getting ready for the Streamathon and just having a good time, getting ready for the next phase of things. And probably not doing as much stabbing as Panabon does while there. But maybe. We'll see.
Maybe. Could be. Well, with that, of course, I've got this every Sunday night. I am also setting up a Shadowrun actual play, the Thursday D&D game that I was in that has finished up, and we are now we're preparing for a Shadowrun game that night. I know that our Shadowrun, the Chicago arc, is going to be coming to a close soon. So maybe that will be done, and then ours will start. I don't know what's going on after that on Tuesday nights for Rem, but that's what I'll be doing, and that'll be over on D and Denial, which is another channel.
Every other Tuesday on Rem is going to be Hellslayer, by the way. So like weeks that we don't have Centurion and Will of the Worlds will be Hellslayer on that following Tuesday. So I know that's part of the plan, but I don't know what's happening the other Tuesdays.
Yeah, fair enough. And what else? I mean,
comic book stuff. The world that we are walking through is based on a comic book. Is there like comic book stuff that you're working on, enjoying?
I mean,
Mike?
I am always kind of working on that a little bit here and there, even if I'm not like fully immersed into it. Right now, my focus is on getting ready for the Shadowrun thing because I have to set it all up. I'm doing it in Foundry, so I have to get it all set up in Foundry and everything. Uh, and um, and we're going to be playing uh, the Seattle story, the one that you've been writing in, John. We're going to play that,
Ooh.
but I'm gonna bring that back into fifth edition and run it in fifth. So
Not to toot my own horn, but Teslin still has nightmares about some of the stuff that I've written. So I'm super stoked for people to discover more about the mission arc that I've created in Shadowrun.
yeah, I'm excited to see more about it. But that's what we'll be doing, and then kind of running the same thing where I'm also going to be like taking the story into like the characters' lives and stuff. So it's just not like straight up every Tuesday is going to be a different mission. Um, so yeah, that's taking a lot of my time, and then also um, doing all that video editing for the games that I'm running, which will also start to be sort of a more regular thing, where I am going to, because I have a goal. It's a lofty goal, and it is to play in a TTRPG or GM for a group of all of my mutuals who are also into TTRPGs on TikTok, and I've got a lot. There's a lot, and so I'm going to do it in this series of like short form things, and then put it all on YouTube, um, just for funsies. But right now, figuring that out, like learning Premiere and getting better and figuring out my workflow in Premiere is taking up a good portion of my time. So, but yeah, that's what I got going on. With that, there is no reason to not dive right in. So let's do it because it's about that time. So last week, lots of stuff, kind of everybody going around and moving their own way. Uh, Panabon and Dru had both gone off to the Bumbling Cat to see if they could figure out what was up with maybe meet up with the local syndicate boss, if you will. Did not see anyone until they were about to leave, when they did notice one of the men who had been part of their escort to the Bumbling Cat several nights earlier. Followed this individual all the way to the southern edge of town at the city gate, and then chose not to pursue any further, deciding instead to perhaps go back into the city and do maybe a little shopping or some other sightseeing, if you will.
Now, here's the problem with messing with the guild system, as they've done here in Castmead, is that this fine gentleman that's supposed to be part of organized water redistribution, as they say in Gilaludi, didn't even notice us. Nope, no peripheral vision. It's just a shame.
I mean,
Just-
maybe he just
shame.
wasn't. Maybe he was busy and didn't. He wasn't working. It's fine.
Also, Rogelio had learned the name of the truck, Carry Big Lots, and driving Carry Big Lots around the track. We also learned about the crown that was gifted to Shayloon, and then Shayloon and Lex, or Perunyia and Lex, sort of switched places as Lex went to talk to Shayloon, and Perunyia went downtown to see what Rogelio was up to. And then Lex and Shayloon both went to see the Sunstar of Heavenly Sequence Engines. And I think that brings us pretty much up to speed. And so we begin tonight with Panabon and Dru. As you are leaving from the South Gate, where are you headed?
Well, if we're going to be good, law-abiding, upstanding citizens, which sigh, we do have a journey we're going to be going on. And though I don't know anything about this ground ship, I do know that journeys of all kinds require snacks and vigilance, especially knowing we're going into a land with deadomancy victims. So should probably do some preparation, shopping. Maybe we'll even see more of the organized crime people, and maybe I'll drop by the Bumbling Cat and just slip a note to give to Percy next time they're in, telling them to maybe look out for bad people wanting to do bad things more. Just put a little bug in their ear, professionally speaking.
A professional bug. So then not anything, not anywhere in particular, just sort of some more like default.
I guess the thing is not knowing Castanede well. We've seen the diplomat places. We've seen a couple of the gyms. I guess we could like, are any of the, because the big fight tomorrow between Perunyia and Vivian, is that tomorrow? Because Perunyia has a fight before Vivian, right?
I'd have to look back at the notes really quick, but I think that Perunyia has maybe one fight before Vivian, if at all. I'd have to pull the roster up to see exactly what that order is.
I
believe
also
so.
I also did have an out of character question. How far is Castanede from Desaren? I know it's like not right next door, but how far is Castanede from Desaren?
It is quite far. I want to say that you're going to be looking at probably a day and a half by train if you went by train.
Okay, that's not going to look. People would be grumpy if I would have gone for that long. Okay, so Dru.
Yeah.
We're both kind of professional vagabonds, more or less, give or take. Musical vagabonds, more or less.
All right.
So we have a ground ship.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it looks like. I'm assuming there are sails, but maybe there are no sails. I don't really think I've ever seen a ground ship before that I can. As long as it's not a camel, like we don't do well with camels. So what should we get for the ground ship? I guess maybe we should get like a spyglass, because I know when you're on a ship in the ocean, you got the one guy on top of the sails, like looks out really far. I assume there are sails. I hope there are sails, or else it's all thing is.
In Drew's travels, would she have seen a ground ship before?
I mean, all of you have seen ground ships before. Like the idea of a car is not so outlandish and new that you haven't seen that
Okay.
prior. They're very rare and generally reserved for like people with a lot of money, probably, or people with or like military usage. There aren't many in the streets here, but there have been some cars in the streets of Cassidy. So it's not. So the idea of a vehicle like that is not just that out of this world.
Okay. So we would have a basic idea of what it might look like.
Yeah, we're talking like the very earliest cars.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I guess a spyglass wouldn't hurt. I don't know.
One for looking and one for throwing. Don't throw a spyglass. I'm kidding.
I just don't know how much room we're gonna have, so I don't know if we should really get a lot until we see it. Because what if it's small?
Oh, it's true. Well, I mean, yeah, okay. Maybe we should invest in getting a good map of the area.
Yeah.
Maybe that would be a good use of the day.
We can do that. Do you know where the ground ship is? Maybe we could go by if it's close, we could go look at it and then get an idea of how much room we'll have for supplies.
We can do that. Yeah, I'm not. This was my whole day was ruining the criminal enterprise of Castanede, but that didn't work out. So I'm really open for whatever to be done today. I feel like might as well be useful. I like being useful. I also don't know. I mean, I guess I could try. You know, I should try busking while we're here in Castanede to see how they take it in neighboring states. But yeah, seeing the ground ship and then seeing maps. Maps would be good, and then we'll know how much room we have.
All right.
You should see what kind of wheels it has too, because I don't know how bumpy the road's going to be, but what kind of wheels it has.
All right.
Well, I bet not. You did a good job.
Let's go see if we can find it and get a look at it.
So where are you headed first? I heard about 3 different things in there that you could do. It sounded like you were going to go check out the car first.
Yes.
Sure.
Okay. So, oops, that's not what I wanted to do.
By the way, as we walk along, if Drew hasn't noticed this, Panabon does have a little thing of paint, and then every now and then at a location they like draw an eyeball somewhere, like they're graffitiing something.
Sure.
She notices but does not say anything. She does not look surprised to see it, though. She may not know what it means, but she doesn't look surprised that you're doing it.
You've seen the eyeballs before.
Maybe.
The eyeballs. All right. So, making your way from Cold Crest to the Silver Yard, eventually finding your way to SkyTrain, or just walking?
How far away is it?
You're not sure.
Okay.
Because you haven't walked that before.
I'm going to say the SkyTrain only because we followed all the way to the southern edge of the city. So I have no idea how much time is left in the day, but might as well make a day of it.
Yeah, it is getting to the mid part of the afternoon, so As you board the SkyTrain and head west towards the Silver Yard, hoping to catch sight of the vehicle, um, the journey there is mostly without incident. You do arrive at uh, Sturike a little bit later um, in the day, and you do notice that there's definitely a lot going on in the area. There's lots of people moving. It seems to be getting close to quitting times. There's a lot of people like leaving from a lot of the sort of factory-esque jobs that are in this quarter of the city. So it's quite crowded. As you get to Sturike itself, you don't see anything going on. You don't see anyone around really. The door itself, the front door, as you arrive, is um, still open, but it looks like mostly people are leaving.
I'm just going to walk in like I know where I'm going, and eventually I'll get there, or somebody will ask me where I'm looking for. Confidence is key.
Yeah, as you step inside, there is a receptionist at the desk, and he looks up. Yes, hi, can I help you?
Hello. We are part of a group taking a ground ship. They still call them ground ships. Should we be calling it that? Does it have another name?
I mean, that's what they told us it was called, so I say just keep calling it a ground ship.
Yes. Yes. We are part of a group acquiring a ground ship from Nagatsu Sanato, and we would like to see the ground ship.
Oh, well, the professor is not in. He has left for the day. And
Great.
Great. And I mean, mostly folks are leaving. Is there any way you could maybe come back tomorrow?
Well, we already have people that are supposed to be in there. Can we just look and see if they're there? One of them is kind of tall and mechanical-like.
Oh, I think I may know who you're talking about. I believe they have left already.
Oh, all right. I don't know. What do you think, Panabon? Should we?
I mean, it would be pretty rude to just like walk around a building that you don't know. So we'll go work on other things and come back. Thank you for your help.
Yeah. Just I guess come back tomorrow. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Good evening.
As we leave, I'm actually gonna like. I know it's a big building because it's called the Silver Yards, but I'm just gonna do like a circuit.
The Silver Yard is the entire ward, but the building itself is a large building.
Yeah.
The Sturike building. And as you walk around, you do notice that sort of next to the building is a large, like just open area. It looks like there's a track on it for vehicle testing, and at there's a place where the building has several large like rolling doors, like garage style doors, that are all closed.
Oh, that would be difficult to pick. It doesn't look like it has a lock even. Well, we can still go work on map stuff though.
All right.
Unless Castanede shuts down. I mean, I do like a city that comes to life after dark, but this is kind of ridiculous.
Well, I mean, we've been out in the other districts at night before, and it's not all been closed down, has it? Because we went out with the Rock.
I don't know. This whole city is weird. They're centralizing everything. People aren't paying attention. It's I don't know. Maps are good. We can do maps. Maps are good, and maybe somebody outside of the diplomat can give us some lowdown on where we're going. get some get some feedback on the area from people that are not so close to the problem.
All right.
Unless you want to try breaking in, because I mean, if you say we should break in, then I'm not the one that said it, and therefore then I lack no culpability.
I mean, you want you you
I
want
mean, I
Shailene to be
always
mad at me instead of you.
I just like breaking into places. It's fun. I mean, it's not my fault if other people disagree with that. It's not like I like just take stuff. Most of the time, it's for a lesson. Like, put your valuables somewhere I can't steal them. You know, it's not my fault that like people just leave things hanging about that are like valuable.
Are there a lot of people around back here?
There's plenty of people just out and about.
Okay.
There's and in this district there are businesses. They're not the same. They're not the same to the same extent as they are in, say, East Home, which is a lot more open, and because East Home is where like the people from Sunny Peak who are like working all like the government jobs for the most part, that's where they live. Silver Yard, kind of, there are like residential pockets kind of scattered throughout Silver Yard.
Okay. I don't know. I think there are too many people around right now. I think if you really want to break in later, I think we should do it later when there aren't as many people around. Maybe later at night when we have the
No,
darkness.
because well, the other part of it is if I do that, then I have to give back my like chapter membership card, and that would just put a real damper on the folks back home. So I guess I really hate being a law-abiding citizen. It's so boring. But we can go find some map people. I know that we're supposed to do like some like pawn shop stuff today to see how much stuff is worth, but I'm less worried about that than Shaylun is. So
All right, well, let's go do the maps, and if we have time, we can go to the pawn shop.
yeah.
All right. With that, you head out looking for
Map makers, map maker, make me a
some
map.
sort of cartographer. How are you going about looking for such a business?
Do they not have like an international house of cartography like what we have for pancakes?
No, not necessarily.
Okay. Well, I mean,
not that it's
I
so
would-
ubiquitous that you would just find one on every
all you
city
can eat
block.
cartography. Well, so my theory would be that there would be something like you'd think there'd be something near where the diplomats are, but it kind of makes more sense for it to be if this is a big economic hub for it to be just like around here if you're sending like your people out on a mission, I guess. I don't know. Can I look for a symbol of cartography or something of that nature?
You can. Just go ahead and give me an investigation check.
Let's see. Is this one of my wisdoms that I need to beef up?
This is an intelligence-based check.
Okay. Better than my wisdom.
Yeah, you are just kind of wandering about looking for anything that would mean to you cartography. You're spending, you probably spend a good 10-15 minutes just kind of wandering, just looking about, like just kind of head swiveling. Is Drew, are you content with this situation, or
Yeah, because Drew isn't really looking for a cartographer. She's more people watching and looking to see if she recognizes anybody, whether it be somebody in their group or anybody that she might know on the streets
Okay.
or
Give me
just
a
recognized.
perception check.
Okay.
And out of nowhere, Rita Repulsa. Oh wait, wrong game.
Oof. 13.
Right. One moment.
You just want to see your boyfriend from the hospital.
All right. Yeah, so you don't notice anything either. And perhaps another 15 minutes goes by before Panabon, after about 30 minutes, just kind of wandering in a general direction, you come upon uh, what looks to be some sort of information board located at one of the larger intersections. The information board kind of discusses some of the things that are nearby, and the kind of note is you see that there's a travel center located over in the precipice, which is maybe 20 minutes walk from where you're at.
You know, you think with a name like the Precipice, they would offer more like base jumping lessons, or I wonder if they have what's the thing where they put a rope on your ankle and they drop you off a building and you come bouncing back up?
Bungee jumping?
There we go. That's what it is. Yeah, I wonder if the Precipice offers bungee jumping.
I don't know, but it sounds fun.
It is fun as long as you're not being attacked by an ancient demonic gargoyle. But that's another story for another time. I think it was the gargoyle at least.
Okay. So as you walk and discuss bungee jumping in the world of Caliphus, you eventually reach the precipice, which the precipice itself is actually outside of the western gate. You didn't really realize it before, but the SkyTrain actually exits over the gate to drop people off at the precipice before coming back in. And as Art, so are you okay? Are you good to leave? And there's a lot of traffic both coming in and out of this gate. Most of it unmolested by the guards.
I wonder why the SkyTrain doesn't go past the south gate. Oh, I've just kind of stopped in the middle of the street, by the way. I'm just looking up at the SkyTrain.
Is everything all right?
I'm just wondering about public transportation here, because like we're gonna go through a gate, and there was the other gate. It's curious why the other gate doesn't go that way too. Fascinating.
I don't know. I wonder why these people, it looks like these people are going in and out freely, but the other gate we were at, the guard looks like they were going to stop us when we were there. So I wonder what's so different about that other gate.
Well, the crime, for one thing, probably.
Oh, right. Crime is bad, right?
Yeah. Well, the way they do it. All right. Well, forward we go, off the precipice, as it were. Aha! I wonder if the people that live there ever say that.
As you walk right out of the gate, kind of looking around, there's you see once again as you kind of come around the edge of this of the mountain that Castaneda is built on. You see all of the airships. You see several some are coming in. None seem to be really leaving at this time of day. you can hear a sort of a buzzing sound as you look up and see what we would describe as a prop plane. Um, very fragile looking, very early sort of model, um, swinging around through the sky and heading towards the large landing strip they have. Um, and you're looking around for sort of the travel center, um, and the best you can make out is that it's kind of a hub where people kind of arriving or heading out might stop and do maybe some last minute shopping or um, get information about what's good in the city or maybe where they're going. And you eventually find a cartographer. It is the edge of what is it? The just precipice maps and sundry.
Ooh. I always do love the and sundry part of things. Um, Out of character, so there is a specific place we are going in. I'm horrible with remembering all the beautiful names you create, Danny, so I apologize already. That I'm sure you've said them.
You are heading to the western borders of Anshator, and more specifically, it's okay. There's a lot of them, and sometimes I'm like, wait a minute, what? To Anshator, and specifically to the. Oh no, come on. I definitely added this in here. Why is there it is. And specifically the Dark Moss Forest.
I'm going to. Is there a counter, or is it just like a grand column of information?
No, this is a definitely like a business. So you kind of walk in. There are several maps just kind of interspersed throughout. There's several like baskets that have rolled parchments in them that you presume must be more maps. Many of them are labeled with locations and names, and there's a sort of a counter, and behind the counter is a very large and expansive table desk where it looks like copying or creation of maps can be done for those who might have commissioned something special.
Oh, how lovely! So I'm gonna look. I'm gonna go up to the desk. I'm gonna go. Look, honey, it looks like we can get a map made here if we need to. Isn't that going to be exciting for our honeymoon? And I say it loudly enough, hoping a proprietor will hear.
Oh, that's going to be delightful! I'm so excited. Let's see if we can find the owner and maybe get something made for us.
Yes, for our romantic honeymoon.
Okay. As you say so,
I can't see Sin's face, but I hope Sin is smiling at all times.
I am laughing.
Good, I'm glad.
Okay, so yeah, so you say that, and as you say that loudly, there is someone who is working in the back, not the back, but has his kind of back turned to everybody, and turns as you have said this kind of out loud, and makes his way to the front. It's a man in maybe his 40s. He's got a receding hairline. His brown hair is otherwise like slicked back, just kind of all of it straight back, and then down the back of his head. He's got a very wide handlebar mustache, and a the word beard that jumped out of my head for a second, and a beard that is very full, and just kind of spreads out all along the bottom of his face and then up to his sideburns, where it connects to the hair that is then works back. He's dressed in a blue coat, and he turns and walks up and, yes, hello. What can I do for you fine folk?
Hello, my fiance and I are getting married, and we're a bit of
Yo.
an adventurous, thrill-seeking couple. And our friends are
I
telling
see,
us the
yes,
best
yes,
place to our friends are telling us the best place to honeymoon is somewhere called the Dark Moss Forest. They say over at Anchitor, and we were just wondering about any maps of the area that we could acquire.
Dark Moss in Anshator. Let's see. I'm sure we have a map of that somewhere. Give me one moment. And then he kind of steps out from around the counter and kind of starts looking through all the various maps that they have. Now, are you looking for just a local map or everything between here and there? What's
Oh, everything between here and there. Something with terrain would be good. We're renting a ground ship for the occasion. We're going to do, what do they call it? They call it driving. We've been practicing driving. It's so much fun.
It's
Very
been
bumpy, but a
exciting.
lot of fun. Yeah. So between here and there would be good. Something local too. Maybe rest stops along the way, so we'll know what little towns we pass by. That's always fun. We've got a little bit tucked away, so we can spend a little bit on the maps. So yeah.
I see. So Manchator, Dark Moss. That's Dark Moss is on the
Western. Usually, our friends recommend we honeymoon on the western border. That's what they said. They said the eastern was no good. Said go all the way to the west.
They did. They were very specific about that.
Yes.
Yeah, Christoph, well, where have you heard of Dark Moss? And you hear a voice from way in the back. What? Yeah, the Dark Moss Forest in Anshator. You said the Dark Moss? Yes. And then a door opens in the back, and out comes a second fellow. This man looks maybe a little bit older than the one who's helping you. His hair is blonde and looks like it's silvering up. And he has his, so whereas the man is helping, his beard is more like rounded. This one, he's got still a full beard, but his mustache definitely just kind of grows into the beard, and it comes down, and it's down about like halfway down the front. And he's got a very full head of hair, and just dressed in sort of a purple vest. And he walks out. Hi, Dark Moss. Yeah. Oh, who's going to Dark Moss?
Oh,
we're having our honeymoon. Yeah. We're so happy. We're in love.
Oh, young love. Remember young love, Kenneth. The other man says, oh, do I? Well, I hate to break it to you, but I would probably not choose Dark Moss for your honeymoon.
Oh, why? Do you think it doesn't go with the complexion? I know the buttercup kind of throws you off, but I'm kind of a thrill seeker. Yeah. I don't mind a little dark moss, unless you think, is there like a light moss forest?
Yeah, why do you say not to go there? What's wrong with it?
Oh, there's been a lot of rumors coming out of Dark Moss recently of well, people gone missing. They say something stalks the woods out that way. I've heard that House Uskun has been kind of fighting the fight, but it's not one that's well, let's just say that more and more people are thinking that staying in that part of the country is not the best thing for their families, So there's been quite a lot of travel out of there, and the rumors, you know. Kenneth, you've heard the rumors. I haven't heard any rumors. Well, you never pay attention to those sorts of things.
Oh, darling, you know I love a good ghost story. We have to go there.
Oh, it's so much fun. You know, I was just saying if we can't do a bungee jump with our minister, we should go to the Dark Moss Forest. So yes, we're a fun couple. You know, this is our romances, you know, ghost hunting and whatnot. So yes, you're doing less. You make us want to go even more because we're in love. It's young love, me and my bride.
Oh love. Well, I mean, and with that, Christoph and Kenneth both share a look between them, and well, who are we to stand in the way of such things? I believe we have a map that we can share with you, and he moves over to kind of the opposite side of where the first man, Kenneth, apparently was looking, and yes, you were looking over at Anshator, which would give you a map of Anshator, Kenneth. But Dark Moss we have, and specifically that's going to be here under D. And he rifles through, and eventually pulls out a scroll, and kind of turns and unrolls it onto the counter. All right, see, so this is Dark Moss. Now, Dark Moss actually covers over into Najasakan, and they definitely share. The border shares the forest, both nations. And on this side, you can see here is the Uskun town of Uskun Manor, where Uskun Manor is, and probably the best way to get there.
Uskun! Oh, honey, I think we went to her fight, didn't we? Like she was a boxer or something like that.
Oh yeah,
do you
that was so
remember?
exciting. Yeah, I do remember that.
Oh yes. Oh, we came in town for the fights and we had such a good time.
It was a lot of fun and very exciting.
Oh, yeah. Yes, the Battle of the Brawn has been going on this past week. I've not been myself, but I hear that it is rather exciting for those.
You should go for the last fight. It's so much fun.
Yes. Ooh, it's such a good time.
No, I'm sure we'll have business here. But so that is that the map you're looking for?
Yes, that would be lovely. A map from here to there, and then a map of there. That's the best ticket to a honeymoon, is to not get lost unless you want to. Oh,
that is true.
Indeed. Well, it's easy enough. We can roll this up for you. And do you need a scroll case?
Oh, a scroll case is always nice to have. Yes, it's going to be commemorative. We're actually going to have everyone kind of sign the back at our marriage ceremony, and then it'll be like our loved ones are with us on our trip. It'll be lovely.
Well, excellent. So then something special.
Yes, definitely. Always something special. Every day is an occasion, but especially marriage.
We're only doing this once, so we should get this. We should get it. It should all be special.
Yes.
Everyone.
That when you find the right one, you only marry once.
It's true.
Indeed. Well, and then you're together for a long time. Just
I know, bungee jumping, together. Ghost hunting. The thrills are never ending.
Never ending thrills. That's right. Every day is a thrill. Kenneth chuckles. You love it, Christoph. As he grabs a very large case that is it's like a really dark leather. It's got some very shiny sort of metal rivets throughout. This has space. So normally we would imprint the name of the map, but if we forego that, then there's space for you to imprint or press in names, as you say.
I love that. That'll be wonderful. I have a cousin that does some lovely leather work, so we'll see if we can get it matched. It'll be very nice.
Yes. So this, the maps, and with that, Christoph's finished drawing them and actually slides them into the case. Um, well, altogether, I think 5 gold coins should cover it.
Oh, how wonderful! Yes. Oh, how lovely. Nothing is nothing is too expensive for my Pookie Bear.
Oh, that's
Five
adorable.
five gold coins.
You
Out
slide
of,
the gold
as
coins
if out of
across.
nowhere.
And they take and Kenneth
I'm
takes
sorry,
it.
Isabeth, have I lost you? Was the Pookie Bear too far?
Just a little. I'm good now. Sorry.
Well, I wish you very much luck on your honeymoon trip, and that it is a safe one.
Oh, thank you. Or even if it's not, it'll be very exciting. Either way.
Well, hopefully not too exciting. Hopefully, you return from your honeymoon and are able to enjoy each other's company for many years down the line.
Yes, all of the years. Until the gods rend the sky asunder and we're all demolished.
They both look at you with a little bit of confusion there. And then Kenneth just kind of chuckles and is there anything else you need?
I don't think so. What do you think, darling?
Yeah. I wonder if you're both travel professionals. What are the best places to get snacks on the way? Because we're gonna have this ground ship, so we're gonna probably want to pack a picnic. What kind of snacks do you think are best for a trip on the road?
Well, I wouldn't say we are the most well traveled. We hear everything that comes in and heads out. But there's plenty of businesses locally, eh, Christoph? Yes, there's I mean, right here in the travel center is a great place for you to pick up any snacks that you need. Um, but you say you're going by ground ship. Hmm. That's probably going to maybe either the North Road. I'm sure they'll have some shops and sundry there. But otherwise, if you just stock up here in any of the local grocers or general stores,
Thank you.
Wonderful. Yes.
right? Well, a good day and best of luck. As Christoph kind of moves back into the back, Kenneth seems to be just sort of still manning the front of the store.
And
Well,
we'll
thank you so
cha-cha.
much.
Yeah.
Come on, my little dumpling. Let's go get some snacks.
Yes, Spooky Bear. And we'll cha-cha slide real smooth right out of the store.
Okay. And we will cha-cha slide right into our 10-minute break and see you on the other side of that.
You're muted, Danny.
No, I'm not. Not muted. Not muted at all. I wasn't actually saying anything. I was just warming up my jaw and lips for talking. And so we leave Panabon and Dru from the cartographer as they exit with their new maps, their swanky map case.
Marriage is what brings us together today.
Yep. And as the evening is kind of wearing on and the others have all returned to the hotel, Shayloon has once again sequestered herself to studying several of the books that she has. And Rogelio has also decided that that maybe trying to make some sort of heads or tails out of some of the knowledge that Shayloon has asked him to make heads or tails of. Perunyia, you've arrived, and as you enter, the clerk at the desk looks up and, oh, Miss Rock
Johnson. Yes.
Johnson, Miss Johnson. Yes. A young lady was here for you earlier, but she just asked me to pass on this note. So, and he holds it up.
Thank you. I take the note and I will tip him.
No, thank you quite. Have a good evening.
Thank you. I will go to, I think the cafe area is not far from the lobby or adjacent to the lobby.
Yeah, it's right there.
So then I will dip in there and look for a seat and open the note.
All right. So the note says, hi, hope you had a good day. So where the fight tomorrow is going to be at oh my god, I had it right up here and then I went away from it to find out about Dark Boss.
I love that
goodness,
you're
what am I
reading it in Phoebe's voice. That's amazing.
There we are. It's going to be at the Federated Assembly, which is basically the big government building in Sunny Peak. And hopefully, if you can, we'll need to be there. It says, hopefully, we'll need to be there by 10 o'clock in the a.m. I will be by the hotel at 9, and we can head that way.
So
And then
Perunyia
it's signed by Phoebe.
folds a note. She wants to get there an hour ahead of time. I think that we probably need to get there a half hour early. Oh well. I don't know how to get there myself. I'll probably still have to wait to Phoebe. So Perunia is muttering under her breath these things as she goes around and takes a look at who else is in this dining room. Do you want me to roll perception for that?
You can, if you would like, roll perception.
Let's do it.
As you are rolling perception, Sin, what is Lex doing now that you've returned and Shayloon has gone off? See that.
Lex is in his own room, kind of writing out his own pros and cons, trying to figure out where he's going from here and whether or not he wants to stay with the group, possibly.
Okay. All right. So just kind of chilling in the room for now. All right. Down in the area in the dining room, you don't see anyone that that causes you to be concerned at all. There's a few people in here. Most of them seem to just be enjoying their meal. You're fairly certain it's just a quiet night in the hotel.
In which case, when the waiter comes over, I'm gonna order my food to go. And on second thought, she's actually going to order 2 meals because Lex might not have eaten, or Shayloon might need to eat, and frankly, Prunya's hungry and doesn't want to share hers. So it'd be safer to order 2 meals.
All right. Yeah, they bring that out pretty quickly, and you are able to take both your meals back to your room. Where you enter and find Lex kind of sitting, maybe on the bed, kind of cross-legged with some stuff spread out.
Hey, Lex, did you eat yet?
No, actually.
Okay. Perfect. I've got a ham sandwich with your name on it, and I think these potato something. You might be. They called them fries. They look like wedges to me, but I don't know what they call them here. Apparently, fries.
Okay. Did you want some?
Oh, I got my own.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. You're pretty good about eating.
I do have to, watch my macros and my protein. I got to fight tomorrow.
You do
How are
eating. You do that
feeling?
eating so good.
I didn't
Listen.
get to 6'5" for nothing, all right, guys?
Some of us forget to eat, Danny.
Like Lex right now. I've forgotten.
How are you feeling about your fight?
A little bit nervous. But like there's the normal nervous, but I feel slightly more nervous because Shayloon has had a change of heart and not only wants me to continue with the fight, she wants me to win it. I'm getting the feeling mostly for the money for more spells, but now that she's actually rooting for me, it's actually making me more nervous.
Yeah, I feel like whenever Shayloon asks for help or depends on us, it feels like more pressure.
Oh, for sure. Back when she didn't know anything about it, it was much easier.
It was scarier though.
Yeah, I know. I don't want Shayloon mad at me either. I don't like Shayloon mad at me. It's a thing. I'm not a people pleaser, but I will say I'm a bit of a Shayloon pleaser.
Yeah, I mean, at least you won't have someone holding you down while she shoots at you.
I apologize about that unfortunate incident. People just get surprised when you change as a person. We're not used to beings from the Shadowflame. I have a little bit more experiences. My best friend was an elf, but not everybody has that experience with Shadowflame creatures.
Your best friend was an elf?
Yes, her name was Rosalia, and she was from Shadowfay. She got kind of trapped here. And then unfortunately for us, very happily for her, she was able to make her way home. Unfortunately, it happened uh, rather quickly, and we didn't get to say as much goodbyes as we would have liked to. But that's the reason why Panabon paints eyes everywhere, is to give her some way to track us if she is looking for us.
So she's from the Shadowfey and not from here.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Can you still contact her?
No, she was able to send us a message, but no, I think she's back home, and we don't super understand how portals work. But we do have this really cool orb, and we can kind of communicate with the orb, and people, I don't know, beings from the Shadowface seem to be able to communicate to us, and sometimes we have odd dreams about the Shadowface too.
The orb. You talk to
Yes.
people in the Shadowfey with the orb.
Well, that's how we found out about Rosalia, and she expressly left it here for us. She was carrying it before, and we think that's maybe whatever communicated to Rosalia through it. It's all a bit vague to me. I'm not much on this magic stuff.
So I'm assuming Shayloon has the orb?
Yes, probably, but I don't know. Actually, that's a good question. I don't keep very good track of things like money or magic items or special things like that. Probably should, but probably Shaylin, because she also has most of the money, I think.
So, you just throw your money wherever? Sorry, there's a lot to address.
Okay, so basically, a couple of us were a little irresponsible with money, and Shaylin suggested that we should make her the treasurer of sorts after we gambled it away a couple times.
But now she's spending it all.
Yeah, which I find a little bit suspect, all right? I can't wager it all on a bet in the fighting fits, but she can get it on spells. Well, actually, one seems a lot more reliable after I say that out loud. Actually, yeah, that's probably still more responsible.
But also, aren't you the one earning the money?
I mean, this time, but most of the money we've earned so far has been as a group.
Mm, okay. Do you think Shaylin would let me use the orb?
Yeah, yeah. I don't think she was precious about it.
Okay. What if I just... Would you ask her for the orb instead?
Sure, but I think that she would just give it to you. I mean, it was really our partners that it found it and gave it to us. So if anything, we mostly consider it still Rosalia's, if anything. I think it makes perfect sense for you as a Shadowfire creature to also try to use it. I think that scientifically, magically, research speaking, Shaylin would want to know what happens if you touch the orb.
I
So
guess
yes,
so.
I can ask for research purposes, which is her favorite phrase.
Okay. And Lex is gonna make note on his paper too. Research purposes in quotations.
Yes.
And then an arrow
Perunyia
of
also
Shaylin.
doesn't know what that means. She's just heard it enough times at this point.
I mean, Lex doesn't know what it means either. You just said it makes Shaylin happy.
Yes.
And then Lex is just gonna kind of pensively think and eat the sandwich you gave him.
Perunyia has already devoured hers and is looking for bag fries at this point. If there's any left in the
Oh,
bag.
Lex hands you his fries.
Perunyia definitely eats them greedily. Oh, thank you.
The rest of the meal is eaten then in mostly silence. As what else are you? What else do you have kind of written down in front of you there, Lex?
So Lex is not the best at writing. So Lex draws a happy face and a smiley face on each side, one on each side of the page. And under the happy face, it looks like a bunch of drawings of other beings that look like Trist. And it looks like a small drawing of like a landscape. And then under the sad face, it's like Panabon and Perunyia and the Shayloon and Dru, and then a bunch of question marks, and then some other dragonborns drawn in.
I can't help but notice there is a frowny face next to beings that, frankly, can only be assumed as our party.
Oh yeah, it means I would miss you.
Sure, that's what it means. It just kind of looks like from this perspective that you might be happier with Triss or whatever. I'm sorry, I don't know the name of those beings with those other yellow people.
Uh, okay, oh, between you and me, I might have a way to go home that's reliable.
Okay, that's
Um,
good.
and I kind of want to go home, but also I promised your brother that I would see these things through, and I haven't yet.
Is there a time window that you have to use to go home?
I don't know. I didn't actually ask.
Hmm. Okay.
But
I
part
mean,
of me is like, what if I go and then come back really fast? But I don't actually know if I can come back really fast.
well, Rosalia has been gone now. Oh goodness, I don't even know. It feels like forever. So if she was trying to be really fast, I don't know. She also says she thinks time moves differently sometimes in the Shadow Fate. I don't know if that's true or if she was just meaning that metaphorically, but what if you go there and it feels like 5 seconds there and it's like 20 years here?
I didn't think of that, honestly.
Wish we had, I can't believe I'm saying this, better research about the Shadowfang.
Me too. I wish I was smarter like Shayloon.
Well, maybe don't make a decision until you take a look at the orb. I don't know. Maybe that will help clarify or help you decide whether or not you want to go. It could also just do nothing, and therefore you decide that, the other route seems safer. But because it seems that you can communicate, perhaps there's somebody you can communicate with in the Shadowfay, and we can ask them.
Yeah.
Is there somebody
and
you would communicate with? A family member or a friend?
I kind of lived with a group. I
Okay.
could probably reach out to someone in there. And Lex is gonna draw an orb in the middle between the two faces and then a question mark above it.
Is that circle the orb?
Yeah,
Oh.
I'm not very good at writing.
Well, maybe
So
your language is different written than ours, and I think it's impressive that you learned so many languages. I don't think you need to sweat how to write things.
it's also easier to draw and give to people. Sometimes the pictures work. Except I left a note for Shayloon once, and I don't think it made sense to Shayloon.
You know why? Smart people tend to overthink things. That's what I've seen.
That's true. I never think. I mean,
Me
sometimes
neither.
I do.
Yeah, it works out great for me. I don't know.
It's mostly worked out, yeah. People should stop thinking.
Well, maybe not Shaylin. I think we should probably keep her thinking for the rest of us. Yeah.
Actually, yeah, maybe.
Well, if we
Shayloon's
thought
good
just a
at it.
little bit less, she would probably be a happier person, though. So maybe just like a little bit less thinking.
I thought that was just because Panabon stressed her.
I've never known the two of them apart, so like I can't tell if that's just her personality or if it's because of him. But don't tell her I said that. Oh my god.
Oh, no, your secret's safe with me.
Okay, good, thank you. So, what time is it getting to be now, Danny?
It's not super late, but it's late enough to start winding down, as necessary.
Perunyia is going to probably go on one more evening jog before we head down for the night. So, Lex, I think I'm gonna go on a really light run. If you care to join me, I know you said running wasn't really your thing, but if you just want company, it works really great for me to clear my head.
Yeah, I think I will join you, and Lex will attempt to keep up with Perunia.
Okay.
So then we head down.
All right. So you head off on a run. We'll cut back to Panabon and Drew real quick as you are heading back to the hotel.
I don't know. I think blue flowers are the way to go for a wedding. I know that's a little out of tradition. A lot of people like pink, but really, I think blue would complement, especially if you did like a more of a periwinkle blue, would work with my hair.
I could see that. I could see that being a good idea. I'm personally partial to purple, but I think the blue
Yeah.
could work.
I think purple. I think purple is just more expensive. I think
Yeah,
because
yeah, it is.
for me, weddings are like about the food and drink afterwards, and so like I'm gonna want to spend a lot of money on like lizards on a stick and like little cupcakes. So like it's one of those things where I kind of got to choose what you want to do. I'm enjoying planning a fake wedding with you.
Yeah, I picture that's what they're doing the whole way back. Is they're planning this whole like elaborate fake wedding and
I mean, obviously.
party, and yeah.
Yeah, obviously. Other than that, the trip home doesn't nothing really comes up. You don't notice much. Go ahead if you would like to give me some perception checks.
I will.
I would love to do that. I would also love if I had better perception, but I'm going to work on that.
Dice hate me.
Um, yeah, you don't really notice anything out of the ordinary. Eventually, you do arrive at the hotel. Um, you don't see anybody around, none of your friends. Um,
Do you want to get some dinner and we can keep planning this wedding?
Yeah, I was just going to go up to the floor and like steal food from the front of somebody's room, but like if you want to like buy food, that's fine.
Yeah, I think I'd rather go to the little like cafe
Oh,
and do
yeah, that's
that.
fine. Yeah. I forgot people like
You bought the
people like
maps.
spending
I'll
money.
buy dinner.
Oh, lovely. I love that. Yes.
all right. You grab dinner. You're sitting, just continuing to discuss this faux wedding. And that's when coming back from your run, you do note that Panabon and Drew are in the dining area talking about a wedding.
I'm thinking wind beneath my wings and actually having like dragonflies descending from the ceiling as like a harpist plays the instrumental version of Wind Beneath My Wings.
That seems a bit elaborate for me, but I mean, if that's what you want, that's fine.
Oh, wait.
It is your wedding too.
There's scientifically enhanced dragonflies, so they're big and they're the same color as the flowers.
At that point, Perunyia and Lex will walk up to their table. Is that true, though? I've never seen those in real life.
That's where the science comes in.
Is it also wedding?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
Wedding. Are we
Yeah.
celebrating?
Oh yes, Drew and I are getting married.
I didn't.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's gonna be the event of the century.
I
Perunyia.
look quickly between them, like, are they joking? Are they serious? How concerned should I be?
When
We
did
have
you
the whole
Oh,
thing
the
planned
start?
out. It's gonna be delightful.
When
Yeah.
did you two start dating?
About 4 hours ago. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Life is short.
Oh.
It's a whirlwind romance.
It's
So it's
true.
a
Very
con?
whirlwind.
Lex, I don't think they're being
That's
serious.
a harsh word.
All marriages are kind of a con in my mind. I mean, except for my parents, but like they also had me. I was a product of that. So, take from that what you will.
Con is such a harsh word. But yeah.
Okay.
Fun con.
We got maps.
Okay,
Yes.
that's helpful. That's helpful.
Okay.
There for the fake honeymoon.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm putting it together now. Okay.
Yes.
Panabon, can you ever just like pay for mass that doesn't have to like be a bit everything? Goodness.
But I didn't show up behind you and almost get punched. So, there's that.
Okay,
I'm
right, but when
learning.
you were in the hospital, didn't you try to pretend to be Drew's cousin, even though you're a different race of being? Your cover stories don't always work out.
Well, yeah, but it's like they were the ones that made me arbitrarily do a cover story. Like I was just gonna go in there and pretend to be a bereaved. Like the less details for that would work, but they were like, give me more details. So, but I still cried a lot. That was fun. I don't get to cry very often.
Okay. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
Drew doesn't seem annoyed by it, and that's the important part, Drew.
It was fun.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have maps of the area with which we are going and the way from that area to there so when we're in the ground ship, we'll know where we're going.
Yes, for the sightseeing, for vacation
For the
purposes.
sightseeing and the honeymoon.
I did see the ground ship. It does look like it'll store most of our luggage. I have to be honest. Drew, there's not going to be any place to like sleep unless you're sleeping on somebody's like shoulder. It is tight quarters.
Okay. Well, I'm glad we didn't buy a bunch of supplies then. We went to look because we weren't sure how big and how much stuff to get. But they wouldn't let us in because they were closing.
Does it have the
Yeah.
little crow's nest for the sails?
No sales. It was the biggest surprise to me.
Seriously, I know that technically they're not. It's a ground ship though. Why would you call it a ship and not have a? That's why they're called airships. Even but they don't have sails, but they have like a thing.
Yeah, I agree. And guess what? We were running out of power, and I was like, "Geez, it'd be very convenient to have a sail right about now, wouldn't it?"
Yeah, I mean that's what the wind is for.
You know
Or
what,
like your breath.
Panabon,
Just
you know how to
Yeah.
sew. I feel like we should just fashion one ourselves and add it to it. I think Sinachi would really
Ooh.
appreciate it, actually.
If we weren't trying to be inconspicuous, I would agree.
I will
Also,
say the whole thing is
fabric is
not
very
inconspicuous.
expensive. Fabric's very expensive.
We can do a beautiful
Unfortunately.
rainbow color fabric. Oh, it'd be gorgeous, though.
See, yeah, which would be fine, except the place
Right,
we're
low
going is
profile,
kind
low
of like
profile. Right.
well, it's also just like the color scheme of where we're going. So, like, bearing in mind a rainbow wouldn't work with that color scheme necessarily. Like,
Well,
I would do
I've
like a
never seen their
thunderstorm motif.
color scheme. How do you know what their color scheme looks like? Are you just going off of what Lady Skin look
No,
like? I mean, that seems a bit.
no, I've asked around. I asked people in the diplomat center. So I got a color scheme to
Oh.
give me blending
We were
in
very
capability.
thorough today.
That's
true.
thorough. No supplies,
And
but
yesterday,
color
yeah.
scheme. Got it. Okay.
I'm not too worried about supplies, and especially knowing that we don't have a lot of room.
No, it's true. The most we can do is, I feel like, some dried fruit and like water and our regular rocks like that. I think that's it.
We had them mark little towns on the way that we could stop and get
nice.
stuff.
I will say I do anticipate those little towns are all running scams, but I will tell you why I think that later.
Okay.
Yes.
So tomorrow my fight is at 10 a.m. Phoebe is going to pick us up here at 9 a.m. And it's at like a big government building, so hopefully nobody tries an assassination attempt on anybody this time. But
I mean,
yeah,
2 times in a week seems superfluous.
it would be a bit much, yeah.
Yeah. Did you eat? Are you running on an empty stomach?
No,
Yeah.
I am not. We definitely ate. Now I wouldn't say notice some more fries. But
Yeah, do you want to see it? I'll get more. I'll get some for you.
I look at Lex.
Lex, you can join us too if you want.
What kind of wedding would you like if you had a wedding, Lex?
Honestly, I would probably get eloped.
Less hassle.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I mean, and really, you can get married anywhere. Like, you can get married at the precipice. Oh, I have this idea for like a bungee jumping wedding where they tie the rope to your leg and they push you off the cliff after you said yes.
Now, which idea is this? Is this the one with just us, or is this the one with us and the person that's doing the ceremony all together? Because
Well,
you
the
had that
person that's
idea
doing
earlier.
the ceremony has to go with you. Like, it can't
Okay.
just be you two. It has to be the person marrying you. That's just silly for 2 people to just go off the edge of a building together.
Well, I mean, we could do that after, like.
It's true. I think as long as you don't send the cake with you.
Oh no.
The food is the important part after the wedding ceremony, obviously.
If someone throws a cake over a cliff, I'm going to be very upset.
It's true. Now, I do have this idea for like doing this, but you also do like an ice swan, and the amount of time it breaks when it hits the bottom of the ravine is how many years you'll be married.
Yeah, that seems like it would sound more romantic than it does in decality.
It doesn't.
Well, you just have to have someone at the bottom, like to see how many times it breaks, and then make sure you don't hit them with the ice swan.
Perunyia is eating all of their leftover fries from their plates.
It's not as good as gnomish bread, but it'll do. Actually, it's not lizard on a stick, but
I think I'm stress eating. I really shouldn't be eating all these carbs right now.
you're gonna do great. I believe in you, Zane.
You're
Oh,
gonna kill
thank
it.
you.
Perunyia.
I mean,
yeah.
you're gonna pound it. You're not going to kill it. No murder tomorrow
I
in
mean,
public.
oh, I don't think she'll let me. She seems really good at what she does. Frankly, just fighting her is an honor in of itself. And honestly, normally I'm pretty confident, but I don't know that I'm gonna win tomorrow. I don't tell Shaylin that because I'm putting on a lot of confidence for her. But between just us, I don't know if I can do this. I mean, she was really good. She trained their entire military. Frankly,
Ooh.
I don't know that she should even be entered into this. Hey.
And she's the crowd favorite too. Although you should
Well,
be the
yeah,
crowd
she's.
favorite because you're amazing.
Oh no, she's a hometown hero. You gotta root for the hometown
I know,
hero.
but I mean, I'm biased. I really enjoy your fighting style.
The only good news
It's
is
too
that I've
bad you
seen
can't
her
do
fight.
like sword to sword.
Well, yeah, in that I might have a slight advantage. But uh, it, either way, I will be happy to fight against her. But I gotta be honest, I don't know if I'm gonna win.
I mean, if it helps any, it's not the biggest thing that you're gonna do this year, probably.
Well,
I
that's
don't know if
true.
that helps any.
Yeah. I mean, I already killed
'Cause, like,
Mistro, and hopefully Flamgasu's next. I mean, this is small potatoes. compared to
yeah,
that, I guess.
like, I mean, that will be much more satisfying than just winning money, you know?
Yeah, I mean, murdering is a little bit more satisfying than just, getting somebody down in the ring. Now that you say it like that.
I wish other people understood that. You know?
I look around this diner to make sure that nobody just heard us say that, because that is not good to confess to.
Yeah, no one seems to be paying much attention to your conversation.
Except for the busboys in back furiously writing down that we're murderers.
I mean, hopefully they'll take it as sarcasm. So.
I mean, one of those busboys probably does have it out for us because they were almost killed because of us trying to send the sandwich to Lady Uskin. So, I mean, one of those busboys at least hates us.
By murdering, I definitely mean winning more firmly.
Okay.
Look at Panabon.
All right. Yes, definitely. Winning more things
Thoroughly.
firmly. Firmly and thoroughly. Sending a message.
Right, sending a message. Right.
Yes.
To the beyond. Yes, a message.
Yes. A message.
I don't know if saying it like that sounded any better for the busboys in the back, but there you go.
To the beyond.
To the beyond.
Yeah, everything else kind of passes without incident. Eventually, it does start getting a little bit later in the evening. Still haven't seen Shaylun or Rogelio, but individually, you do know that they at least had got to the hotel with Perunyia and Lex, respectively. So.
On our way out, I will send up food to Shaylun's room. Just another ham sandwich and fries. And I don't know if Rogelio eats actually, so I don't send it to him.
All right. And then with that, everyone kind of is retiring for the evening.
Yes.
I'm actually not retired. Well, I am going to my room. But I actually take the maps out of the map bag and I put in a little secret compartment in the map bag.
Say that again.
I have sewing skills. I make masks, so like it can't be that much of a different skill set to put a little fake pocket in the.
Okay, I missed that part where you were going to create the pocket of fakeness to put the maps in.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
sure.
the maps are thing and they're thing I'm creating because it's I'm making a little fake pocket in the map bag.
Understood. That's fine. You spend some time doing that, um, and then anything. Are you doing anything after that?
No.
And so, with that, everybody goes to sleep for the evening in order to be up on the morrow. As you are sleeping, Sin, you
God.
find yourself again in the darkness. There are sounds around you of water sloshing, uh, like the lapping of waves against a rocky shore. Then, kind of adding into that, you hear this sort of sibilant hissing and growling that just kind of joins it. There's no sense of where it is, it's kind of all around you. And then everything kind of brightens up in this smoky haze, and stuff starts to crystallize and coalesce. You find yourself underground. Ahead of you, maybe 100 feet, is the golden, sort of tarnished, egg-shaped orb that you had seen previously in your previous dream. It's on a wagon, and there are two people deeply robed. You can't make out their features, their race, anything about them, pulling this wagon, this cart with this orb on it, very quickly away from you. To the right is water. You're standing maybe in like 2 or 3 inches of water yourself, that goes all the way to this wall on the left side of you. But to the right, it looks like it falls off and becomes some sort of deeper pool, underwater pool.
What do the robes look like?
Tattered and gray mostly. Coming out of the hands, the arms, the fingers that are holding the poles to like pull the wagon along are completely like wrapped in like white ribbon or bandage, all the way down to include fingers. If there's anything showing, it's not something you can see from this distance.
Does the environment look familiar?
You can't place it specifically. It has the sense of generic undergroundness to you.
Okay. Can I touch anything underground? Or is it just this is what I'm seeing?
No, it's like you're there. So you can feel the water like just kind of washing over the top of your feet. As
Can I
the as like ripples from the pool then hit the sort of like the area that you're standing in, kind of like create turbulence, and the water just kind of laps against your feet.
Can I follow them?
Absolutely. How quickly are you trying to follow?
I as much as my movement speed allows and as stealthily as I can.
Your options are full speed, disadvantage on stealth, or half speed, and you can maintain your stealth, or not have disadvantage on stealth.
I'm gonna do full speed with disadvantage, but can I shape change before I do?
Absolutely.
I'm just gonna try and look like the most generic human I can think of. Like, just some dude in, like, linen clothes that are, like, beige.
Okay. Absolutely. And go ahead with the disadvantage. Give us that stealth check.
Oh, I forgot to click it. I'm so sorry. I'll
You're
just
fine.
roll
Just
twice.
roll it again. Not bad. So you make your way as you're kind of running towards them, you're catching up. You are much faster than two people pulling a wagon with a large egg in it. But they are running up to maybe an exit to this particular cavern. There is a passage that leads out, and they run into that passage. Um, you lose sight of them in the darkness as they run into it.
Like, they just run and disappear?
It's dark, and so they run into it, and you kind of lose the sort of ambient light that your dream is providing here in this area. It doesn't go into that tunnel, so they have like kind of run into the darkness.
Uh, hello?
Are you still running, or are you slowing down to call out?
Can I run and call out, or I have to slow down?
No, you don't have to. I'm just asking.
Oh, I'm gonna
Um,
say hello and try and sound lost.
All right. Once you run into this passageway, you can hear the wheels on the wagon spinning ahead of you, kind of echoing through the hallway as you are continuing to chase. Um, the light behind you provides enough ambience that you can see where you're running, so you're not like stumbling or slamming into any walls. It raises up enough to where you're not sloshing in water anymore, but rather running on just dry sort of rock and dirt as you continue forward. Uh, no one responds, and the echoing of the wagon wheels sort of like the dynamic of it changes. It sounds more open and distant as you continue running around the corner. Uh, you see ahead of you, there is once again light kind of shining towards, as it appears maybe there's another passage or another chamber ahead. You don't see the wagon or the people, but you hear it still somehow ahead of you.
I'm gonna keep trying and going the way I think it is.
Okay. As you continue running, you can see that there is once again pools of water on either side of this sort of bridge uh, of 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 the just the path that goes before you. And as you kind of come around this corner, you can see these two individuals in the wagon pulling, uh, and you're close now, maybe only 50 feet behind them. They don't seem to know that you're there. And as you run out of the dark passage into the more open area, you catch a flash of movement just to your left, and a sort of and something slams into you and knocks you into the water uh,
Uh,
on the right side, and you just feel yourself kind of drop into the water with this weight, this heavy pressing weight of something on you. And we go now real quick to Perunia. As you are sleeping in you open your eyes and find yourself in a very large and opulent sort of chamber. Everything is gilded in gold and silver and platinum. Um, there is in front of you a dais in a place of reverence where there are it's like a stone altar that comes up and then flattens out and then in the center comes up again. It's very wide and you can see on each of the three surfaces that this creates depressions, sort of deep empty depressions. Around you are um, sort of cases meant to house weapons. However, they are all empty. There are no weapons stored in them at this time.
Danny, remembering the history of my sword and where it was stored sounds like this room. Can I roll a perception to see if it is the same place?
You don't need to roll. It's similar enough that you would say you think it is.
And you said now from the dream memory of the sword, there was a lot of different artifacts in there, or at least it looked like the shelves and the storage things had things in them. And now it looks a lot more empty. Am I understanding that correctly?
It looks completely empty, like all of the weapons have been removed.
Oh, this is bad. Oh, this is bad. I will try to walk and wander around, see if there's an exit to the chamber.
Sure. I mean, as soon as you turn around, you see the exit. It is a large golden archway that leads into darkness ahead.
I will go that way.
As you start to walk down that way, and you hear like this whispering sort of kind of start to echo through the hallway. The sound of a sort of a loud whispering. Um, the words are odd, but you hear Galus Kemiotsupozmi, the dragon's tooth. Boromip Owilgogwe, the swift blade. Romaric Shaltastri, phantom's light. And this sort of goes on, and you recognize names, except they're different. They're not this. There's definitely the dragonborn language is infused into these names, but they're just not quite the names that you know that you've heard before.
I wonder, there are a list of swords, and I have a list of swords, and Natasha was carrying a list of presumably swords. Do I recognize any of the names of the swords from that list?
Give me an intelligence saving throw.
Oh boy, that is not something I'm good at.
If you have a nat 20, maybe now's the time.
I can't. I'm literally about to go fight tomorrow. I can't do that. Oh!
You'll just roll a nat 20. Look at that.
I got
It was meant to be.
Yes. It's important that I know this, Danny.
You are, if not the names themselves, the names of the weapons are definitely, you recognize them. And it sounds, and as you are continuing the hall, the whispering kind of lessens from a whisper to the sound. It starts to become more of just a voice, like almost a bored voice, almost like taking an inventory as they continue. Rogelpe Gyakrapiogre, Hope's End. And then another name, Volodya Gesnikovo, Severance. Hanuokab Popletanov, Deception Slight, and the names continue. And again, the names are just off.
The reason why I'm walking around this chamber is because when we come to Palacune, I would like to find this place again. So what I'm trying to do is look for a window or any kind of thing that will help me place where this is in the city.
You continue walking, and eventually you see a light ahead. And as you are heading towards that light, the naming and the listing starts to fade away. Looking around, looking for any source of the sound, you don't see it. You come to the edge. You come to where the opening is, and it actually opens out to nothing. There's a cliff, and down in the cliff you can see this expansive chamber. The center of the chamber, it's bisected. It looks like water below. It's bisected by a bridge, and you see two robed figures pulling this cart with the egg in it. And they're maybe 100 feet down and another 100 feet out, uh, kind of running perpendicular to where you're coming out. And as you're watching, you see to the right a figure, a man in just nondescript beige clothing step out from a passageway as he's following. And then the wall, it's almost so fast you miss it. The wall kind of like erupts, and this green winged figure, as large as maybe like an elephant, detaches and just rushes down and slams into this figure, and they both go tumbling into the water.
I feel like that's important. I don't know what I should do for it because I don't know that man. Uh, um, okay, while I'm deciding what to do, if I should intervene in this odd-winged creature, can I sniff the air, Danny? And can I tell whether or not I'm underground in the mines? Is that perception for me?
You can make a perception check.
I'm also like doing this while half waiting to see if they pop up for air and how it's going down there.
You do not recognize the stone here as being that of the mines. It could be. It could be. Color's close, but it's not. You don't recognize it that way. And as you are looking, you kind of breathe in, and there is a scent on the air in that just kind of permeates that you recognize. You can't quite place it.
How is the battle going below me?
You don't see anything. You don't see any. Like the water has rippled out, and you see nothing else happening. Meanwhile, the men pulling the wagon, if they are men, have reached the far side and appear to be exiting into another passageway out of this chamber.
I don't know who that man is, so I'm not going to investigate the man. I'm going to follow the wagon. Still looking for a way out.
So you are on the edge. So yes, this passageway you have exited just opens up into the wall. The only way would be for you to, if you could fly, would be for you to dive into the water below, and then swim to the land bridge and then chase.
Can't fly, but I can swim. How's this dive looking?
It's about 100 feet down.
I mean, that's doable. High divers dive 100 foot off. That seems doable. It seems really dumb, but that's never stopped Perunyia before.
I was gonna say it kind of sounds like a Panabon move.
All right. So you are going to dive. Go ahead and give me an acrobatics check.
Are you sure it can't be athletics? All right, I'm rolling. No, let's see. I don't really. I can't use anything, game wise because I need to save them for tomorrow. So I poorly dive. I poorly.
Yeah,
Do I die?
you jump and you basically you go into like a swan dive, but you kind of overcompensate, and so you kind of start to roll over more, so your legs are kind of rolling back, and you kind of like you hit the water really hard.
Ouch.
Bottom line, you don't belly flop. It's more like back, like you're kind of coming in, like this is your back as you come down. It hurts. It's not graceful looking. It's not pretty.
Probably made a big splash.
It made a really big splash, and it disorients you for just a moment. And as you are disoriented, Lex,
Yes.
you are struggling in the water, and it's so dark and murky, and you are trying to push away from this thing and shove against it. And it's whatever it is powerful, and it's big, and it's got you, and it is also just kind of pushing through the water as well, swimming, as if it's maybe even like a fish, like it's naturally natural to the water.
Can I punch it?
You are punching it. You are punching it so hard. You are trying to get out of its grasp, and there is you get the sense, you feel something else hit the water. And then just like that, whatever's had you, it releases you. And you are now just floating in the darkness of the water by yourself.
Like it's just gone?
It's gone.
Do I sense it anywhere else?
Make a perception check with disadvantage. Your DC is going to be 15.
Oh, nice.
With disadvantage though. Oh,
Okay.
okay.
It's not as if it's just disappeared. It has left you. You can kind of get a sense of some movement in the water, kind of off in a distance. So it's not that it's gone. It's just left you for the moment.
And it's dark?
The water is dark. It's very murky and dark.
Can I use a key point and do a lightning breath in the water to see if it lights it up?
Are you gonna electrocute us right now? Because that very much feels like you're about to electrocute
It's a
us.
dream. It's a dream.
Sure.
Is it a dream though?
You don't have
Are you
to use
sure?
you don't have to use a key point for this. You can just do it.
Okay.
So you do.
I just do it.
And so you do it, and you let out a streak of electrical energy. And as you do so, you can see that you're in this pool, and at the bottom of the pool are bones, all sorts of bones. And you recognize there's animal skulls, but there's human skulls, and they're like completely bleached bones at the bottom, and that's all there is. There's no plant life down there. There's nothing, and this is just in a flash, and you can tell that you are that the depth here is maybe between 30 and 50 feet. There are ways to move. You can see where like the passage above the land bridge, but then below it's actually almost as if it's held up by like stone pillars of just rock, as if to be a natural formation, but it can't be. And you get the sense that the thing that had you is moving away directly, and you see it very large, just a dark shape streaking kind of away from you.
I know you can't see my face, but it's just like big nope. I see it moving away. Do I see the other presence that I felt falling into the water?
No, but you get a sense that it's moving in that direction.
God, the bones are big, no. Can I continuously like breathe lightning out to light my way as I'm going?
You can do it again, and then it's going to cost you 2 key points per act. So you have like 4 more, and then you'll be out of key points.
I'm just gonna
But
swim up.
okay, so you swim up, and eventually you break the top of the surface of the water. And as you do so, you see Perunyia, you have hit the water hard, and you basically like have kind of stunned. But as you kind of come back to your senses and get, bring yourself back to the surface, you look and you see the surface breaks to the side, and you see that human pop their head up. So, Lex, you do see Perunyia has just surfaced over there where that disturbance was.
And I know it's Perunyia.
It looks like Perunyia.
I look the same. I don't change my body.
I climb out and I'm cautiously just gonna like whisper like Perunyia.
So you're going to swim to the land bridge.
Yeah.
All right. So as you see this person, they start swimming towards the land bridge, and you feel like that was your plan anyway, was also to swim in that direction. As you do so, though, it's that scene in every movie where there's something scary in the water, where like something tugs at you just a little bit, and then you just get pulled under as something very large does pull you under. And you see Perunyia just like a moment of shock and surprise, and then just down in the water she goes.
Okay.
Lex is gonna change back into Lex form and jump in the water.
I am going to fight the creature that has me, and I'm gonna reach back to my sword, which, because I'm very good at lucid dreaming, I should have on me, just 'cause.
You reach back to draw the sword, and when you do, in that way of dreams, because it's dark, you really can't see anything. In that way of dreams, when you draw the sword, you expect it to be Paola Flopse, the flaming sword, but instead it's a different blade.
Oh man.
It's dark. It's almost it's like it's got obsidian encrusted. It's encrusted with like polished obsidian throughout, and the blade itself is like this flat gray metal. But you don't.
It.
You do
Do
not
I
recognize it.
No, I don't recognize.
No. It is a very
my shitty sword.
no. This is a very very fine sword. At least as nice as Paula Flopse in terms of just how it looks. And as you swing it, it cuts through the water almost without, like normally if you drag a blade through the water, it's hard, but this seems to swing through the water just fine. You cut into whatever has you, and you hear this angry roar in the water, and it releases you. And you kind of turn, and in that moment, you see swimming towards you from the other direction, Lex. Even in the dark, you both can kind of make each other out as Lex is swimming towards you, and Lex, you see Perunyia there with this dark sword in her hands, just kind of floating in the water.
I'm gonna motion, go, 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 like back to
Lex
shore.
follows.
Okay. As you begin swimming and trying to swim up, you both feel this disturbance in the water. And as you turn to look, this head, this triangular head with horns sweeping back and a mouth full of teeth just rocketing towards you. And as it's reaching you, the jaws open wide and out spews this just greenish miasma that like just moves through the water as if it's moving through air at you in your direction, and it is going to engulf the two of you. As you brace for the impact of this, whatever it is coming towards you from this creature, there is a flash of light, and both of you sit up quickly in your beds in the hotel.
Look at Lex.
Uh,
Was
w-
that real?
you? Okay, you had the dream too?
There was a big monster in the water, and I saw you dive into the water. Were you also the man earlier? Ooh, sorry I ignored you.
No, I was trying not in case they caught me following them.
Oh,
I didn't want to get the wagon people with the
oh,
egg.
Lex, it was a real place because I started my dream in a room that I recognized in the history of my sword was stored in this room, and so that is a real place that we were in, probably somewhere in Palacune or near there.
Okay, so the egg I told you about before, like the gold egg,
Huh?
that's what they had in the wagon.
That was in the wagon.
Or yeah.
Oh, this is bad. Oh, they
With
have all of those magic items, all of those swords, and they have an egg.
and the last time I saw this egg in my dream, it was like the high priest.
Flamgesu.
Yeah, with the egg.
Okay.
Well, I was trying to
Not
stop
panicking.
him, but
Mhm.
then I woke up.
Okay. As soon as we handle what we need to handle at the Uskin family house, we have got to go to Palacune.
Yeah. Oh God.
Oh, I just hope we're not too late. Oh my goodness.
What would they
Okay.
even do with all of those things?
Well, so like at the thing that the Miscro was trying to do, they were having all of these like relics, and they were like trying to like bring some evil into the world for power, but like you gotta ask Shaylun because I never super understood exactly what was going on except they were bad guys. So we need to tell her about this. So they might
Okay.
be trying the same like kind of thing of like bringing like they failed at that other ceremony. Maybe they're trying an even bigger ritual. And that's a lot more
Okay.
magic items. That room was packed in that historical dream sequence that the short the my sword like showed us at the university.
Okay. That's cool. And like
Wow.
Lex starts hyperventilating.
Yeah. This is not good for sleep. Before my fight. Just for the record.
Yeah. I can imagine. I might also just go for a walk. I feel like a lot of energy now.
I don't think you should go for a walk by yourself. Let's go for a walk together. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
The two of you hop up, quickly get dressed if there's a need for that. I don't know if you sleep in clothes or pajamas or what have you, but you get dressed for a walk. And as you head out of the hotel into the night to sort of process all of that, we are going to end our session for the evening. And we will be back next week. I think everybody will be on board next week for what will hopefully be our big finale for the brawl, as Perunyia will face off at least once, perhaps twice, against the favored Vivian Tarhal. So with that, we will see everybody right back here next week, like clockwork.
Good night, everybody.